Welcome to the City of Hudson regular scheduled City Council meeting for Monday, January 9th, 2012. If you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, the roll, please.
Mayor Burchill.
Here.
District 1 Morset.
Here.
District 2 Yaku.
Here.
District 3 Bernard.
Here.
District 4 Wyland is excused. District 5 Hoggett.
Here.
District 6 Vanslow.
Here. At this time, we've got a celebration that we'd like to take place. And why don't we go over here? No, why don't you come up here, Paul? Pat, you want to join him? Or don't you want to? Come on. I was going to say the better half, but that wouldn't be nice, would it? Sorry, Paul. This is a celebration of 38 and a half years of duty and service to the City of Hudson. We have a plaque and a presentation for him for appreciation to Lieutenant Paul D. Larson in grateful acknowledgement for 38 years and 6 months of dedicated service to the Hudson Police Department for safeguarding the lives and freedoms of the citizens of Hudson. It's signed by Marty Jensen and Alan Burchill. Paul, congratulations. And the next, so we have one lieutenant retiring, and then we have another lieutenant coming in. So Marty and Judge Garrity, if you could come up here, please. We're going to go up here, Lieutenant, or soon to be Lieutenant. Congratulations.
Thanks, Mayor. You guys want to switch sides on here?
No.
Get on the back side.
Won't. Are you ready? I'll go slow, I promise.
Thank you.
Okay, raise your right hand. And please repeat after me. I, Eric Atkinson,
I, Eric Atkinson,
having been appointed as a lieutenant
having been appointed as lieutenant
for the Police Department of the City of Hudson, Wisconsin,
for the Police Department of the City of Hudson, Wisconsin,
swear that I will support
swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially
and will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of said office
discharge the duties of said office
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Eric comes from 11 years with the police department. The last 4.5 as one of our sergeants, our detective sergeant, where he did most of his time. He is a Hudson native, a graduate of 1993 from Hudson High School. So he's been here for a long time. We hope to have him for many more years to come.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point in the agenda, we take comments and suggestions from citizens present on any item that is not on the agenda. So if there's anyone here that would like to speak to the council on something that's not on the agenda, please come forward. Yeah, yep. If you could give us your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Tony Venman. I live at 2713 Galloway Court in Hudson. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my thoughts this evening. On Saturday, I emailed each of you regarding the increase in the boat launch fee, and I now would like to just recap some of the main points of my earlier email. As a resident of the City of Hudson, I'm shocked and disappointed that you have decided to raise the boat launch fee to more than double its rate for last season. I urge you to not only approve the season pass proposal, but at a much lower rate for city residents. I have read up on the law, and I understand that you had to increase the fee. However, I'm asking that you once again reconsider the season pass proposal fee that was on the agenda and will be on the agenda again. My husband, daughter, and I are your average middle-class family. We've worked hard our entire lives to provide our daughter with a good life, My husband grew up enjoying the St. Croix River, and we wanted to give that experience to our daughter for her childhood. We could have settled in a less expensive city, such as River Falls or New Richmond, but we chose Hudson for the river. In a time of tough financial choices and serious inflation that is not being matched by a salary increase for either of us, the river has been our spot for escaping with our daughter for an afternoon of inexpensive, safe, healthy outdoor enjoyment. We have spent countless summer days and nights on the St. Croix in our very modest boat, a boat we purchased by making other financial sacrifices. We don't have the nicest house or the nicest cars on our block, but we have our time on the river together to make it all worthwhile. Now our time together will cost us more than double what it cost last year. I realize the city needs to increase its revenue, and there are laws in place that dictate certain fees that are assessed and raised. However, I believe a $7 lunch fee is much too high for a city resident. We are the ones who pay taxes to live in this city. We are the ones who help financially support this city. That being said, I understand that your hands were crossed and that a decision was already made regarding the daily fees. But soon, you will be discussing a proposal for a season pass. I also see your proposed fee for the season pass is the maximum allowed by DNR law. The maximum states that you may charge 10 times the daily fee. Once again, it feels as if city residents will be overcharged for something they helped finance in the first place through the payment of taxes. Although I do urge you to approve this season pass, I plead with you to approve it for a much lower cost for Hudson residents. Since the new daily pass fee is based on the law used to determine state park entrance fees, the season pass should be based on the same. Willow River State Park charges Wisconsin residents $25 for a season pass that can be used all year in the park. I think it only fair that you charge city residents the same for a boat launch season pass, especially considering the fact that a season pass for a boat launch cannot be used year-round like a state park pass can. The proposed season pass fee of $70 for city residents is almost triple the season pass fee for Willow River State Park, and the launch requires much less manpower and maintenance to keep up. The bottom line is this: you are hurting the middle-class city residents of Hudson with the new daily fees. Please don't make it worse by allowing for a season pass that would cost the equivalent of more than 23 boat launches at last year's rates. $70 is an awful lot of money to launch our boat off a dock in our own city. Thank you for your time. I hope you seriously consider my comments.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? If not, let's move on for the first consent agenda items. Madam Clerk.
To approve the regular meeting minutes of December 19th, 2011. To approve claims for payment in the amount of $773,789.73. A detailed description is available in the clerk's office on request and is posted on the city's website. To approve the issuance of 4 regular operators licenses for the period January 10th, 2012 to June 30th, 2013. Additional information is available in the clerk's office on request. To approve the 2012 Public Works service charge rates as presented, reflecting a 0% increase from 2011. The rates are on file in the clerk's office. To approve the $23,180 quote from Honeywell for the City Hall temperature control project. To approve the purchase of a CB 3250 clean burn waste oil furnace from Durson Manufacturing, Watertown, Minnesota, at a cost of $8,345, including installation at the East City Garage, 1520 2nd Street. To approve the 2012 sailboat mooring fee of $560. To approve the fees in the revised municipal court deposit schedule as presented. The rates are on file in the clerk's office. To place on file the quarterly report of the St. Croix EMS chief and the semi-annual report of the compliance officer. That is all.
Move for approval.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Bernard?
Yes.
Morset?
Yes.
Yakub?
Yes.
Haggett?
Yes.
Vanslo?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, we'll consider, our first order of business is the Planning Commission consider approval of a 72-unit housing project for low and moderate income persons and the issuance of revenue bonds by the Hudson Housing Authority of the City of Hudson, Resolution 2-12. Mr. Darnold.
Thank you. Dominion Development and Acquisitions LLC currently owns the Cedar Ridge Apartments at 1400 and 1401 at McCoggin Street. Those two structures are affordable family housing. Dominion Development is requesting to have that project approved, and also the authorization of approval of authorization by the Housing Authority to issue revenue bonds for that project so that the project can be acquired and then also renovations conducted. The Housing Authority has approved some preliminary authorizations, conducted public hearings. Planning Commission reviewed the project last week and approved the project. The Finance Committee approved the project, and Resolution 2-12 prior to the Common Council meeting. Mr. Ron Mell from Dominion Development is here tonight to answer any particular questions that you may have. If the Common Council would consider approving the resolution tonight, there would need to be a suspension of rules to take it through that typical procedure.
Any questions?
I'll move to suspend the rules.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Morset?
Yes.
Yaku?
Yes.
Haggett?
Yes.
Vanslo?
Yes.
Bernard?
Yes.
Any discussion on the consider resolution number 2-12?
Move to adopt resolution number 2-12.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 4 is street light on the corner of Vine Street and Spruce Drive. Lori, you want to talk about that?
Sure. There's been some complaints or comments about how dark that particular intersection is, that it's an area where there's a bus stop and a lot of people cross. It's also one of the only intersections along Vine Street there that is not lit. And so the Public Works Committee passed the motion to install a street light at that location. It's not a signal, it's just a street light to light the intersection at the cost of $650. So I'll make a motion
To approve?
to approve that.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
What's the difference between the city paying to install this streetlight versus what happened in Stone Pine, 2 years ago? Didn't the Stone Pine residents have to pay for
That
their
was, I believe
streetlight?
that money was set aside in the development agreement, or the planned unit development agreement. So the money had been set aside and then had been sitting there, and that was used.
Okay, I just wanted to understand the difference.
Am I
Okay.
correct, Danny? Is he back there?
I think
He's not there, okay, yes, that's my understanding. When the development was created, they set aside money for those streetlights.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Boat launch fee has been pulled to go back to
Public Works.
Public Works on the 31st.
Probably bring it back early February.
Okay. Establishment of a stormwater utility, I believe we're taking that back to finance. What did we decide at
It's also going back to Public Works.
Public Works for some more work?
Final language.
Yep.
Yeah, final language on bring it back for annual review and some of the
Clarification on the
stormwater
credits.
credits.
Yep.
Water ponds.
Did you have anybody have any comments on that?
I have a question.
Yep.
Is this going back to Public Works for final review with alternate one? I mean, is that what was, I didn't hear clarification on that in finance.
Well, it was alternate one to find out what exemptions might exist for the 12 pieces of property that would be $3,000 in fees. And we wanted to find out what they would be lowered by based on reviewing the properties and seeing what's on those properties.
So yes.
So the answer was
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Right.
Can we just get a
Just more
breakdown
what-
on that so that it's a little clearer as to what a resident will pay? And just kind of, I know, but it's not, What's our total revenue that's gonna be generated, and just a little more detail, I guess, is what I'm looking for.
I think it was 315,000.
315,000 total.
315, we're gonna do 315 out of this thing.
Okay.
And under the three proposals, those would be the fees that we pay.
So, Mary, is your question that we've limited it to one from finance?
Well, kind of, I didn't feel like anything got, I mean, I was listening in finance, I didn't feel like there was any resolution on the other two alternates. I mean, I'm hesitant on this to begin with, so maybe that's my problem. I thought, you know, I mean, I was hoping you'd consider looking at alternate 2 as well, or an alternate 3, just in more detailed. I don't understand why alternate 1 sticks out the most in people's mind. I think alternate 2 could, if there's a few adjustments, could be just as viable.
Okay.
I mean, I think one of the reasons that alternate 2 was sort of turned down was it doesn't really lay out for the commercial, industrial, and institutional, it's a flat rate, so it doesn't really take into account their areas, the number of REUs, and I think just from a being able to, from a defensibility standpoint, 1 and 3 are being looked at. It's
not really, it doesn't take into account the impervious surface.
Okay, that I can accept that, but then with alternate 3, it was discussed to possibly slash the base charge in half to $18 for multifamily, which would make it more reasonable. So why aren't we looking at
But then the
alternate 3
others
as
were
well?
all gonna go up, and so, I mean,
Well, they're gonna go up, what, $1 or $2?
I think that would be right.
well, not for the commercial
Well, I
and
don't think
industrial.
we have those numbers yet. Neil has to.
That's why I was just asking if we could, if it's gonna go back to Public Works, to at least explore, if not alternate 2 due to fairness, alternate 1 and alternate 3 as well.
Okay.
That's just what I'm requesting, whether Public Works chooses to do that or not, I guess it's up
Or are
to
you
guys.
okay with that as Public Works Chair?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of keep working and reworking, and there's not a perfect formula, but if it's not a tremendous amount of work.
And the reason we focused on number 1 was that when you look at all of the imperfections in what we're trying to do here as far as being fair and equitable, number 1 appeared to be the most fair and equitable and logical from a charging standpoint, and there were only 12 parcels of land that had a $3,000 payment, and those were the 12 we wanted to look at, so it appeared that that would be the least difficult to implement and explain, and the most fair and objective.
Okay.
That was the logic.
So we'll have that available. I think, Neil, can you maybe even talk to Mary if she has some suggestions? See what would come out? That seem reasonable?
I mean, I think one of the other issues that came up was the multifamily in alternate 3, and could we look at individual complexes, and if they're multi-level, can we take that into account? It was gonna take looking into every single specific situation, and I don't think we wanna get to that point, and so I think that was part of the rationale in kind of focusing back on alternate 1. The other thing is for the 12 units that are 100 plus REUs at 3,000, you know, those are probably more likely to be able to get credits of some sort by making modifications to their property and holding stormwater. So I think that's, I mean, I guess we didn't explicitly say alternate 1, but I think that's what I was kind of hearing.
I guess
don't wanna speak for you guys.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. The detail I was looking for was just counts on the breakdown. I didn't realize there were only 1,200 plus REUs, so that's good. That's all I was looking for.
Yeah,
I think that was included in the last time.
Yeah, I should have gone back and looked at that.
Yep. So Mary, is that clear as mud? Is that?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm just having trouble with the whole, I understand that we need to do this. I just am having trouble with the concept of doing it, so I just want to make sure we do our, you know, I know it can be frustrating, and I'm not one to slow things up usually, but at this moment, that's what I'm choosing to do, so, or requesting at least to happen, to really.
So are you saying you'd like to see some of the changes in the rates for the multifamily? Is that what you were?
Well, yeah, I'm not saying I just wanted to consider cutting that base price in half for the multifamily like was suggested, and, you know, $3,000 just seems awfully large number. 2,000 seems a little nicer to me for the, for the 100 plus, RUs. There's some big differences, I think, in the numbers before looking at credits. I mean, when you look at credits, they're gonna be the same in alternate 1 and alternate 3. I mean, it's not like the credit changes. So I'm just asking I would think the work would be done for 1 and you can apply it to the alternate 3. I don't,
But I'll just say that's part of the problem I have with just looking at the multifamily and trying to make that more palatable is that really fair?
Oh, I'm not suggesting we just look at multifamily, but that was one of the big hangups from what I understood in finance. So I'm suggesting that all of the numbers in alternate 3, some are higher, some are lower.
Right.
It's not that alternate 3 is all lower. There's complete different numberings here, a complete different formula here of numbers. But to apply the credits or whatever we're gonna do towards it the math will just transfer. It's not double the work and, just to see the final numbers.
I think we talked in committee about $18, didn't we, Neil?
Right.
If you reduce it in half.
Huh?
Yeah, if you reduce the RU in half.
Yeah.
We did. It'd be very easy to at least, take a quick look at what Mary's proposing to see what the impact would be on the others using on alternate 3. I mean, that can be easily provided at the committee level.
That'd be great.
I just want I just want the options.
Lori?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
I don't want to show favoritism toward, gosh, we want multifamily units to be this price and everyone else can just deal with it.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with
I mean,
you.
I
That's
think
not
that's
what
the wrong approach.
that's not what I was intending to say. It was just that's what was mentioned. So,
All right, thank you. Item 10, consider suspension or revocation of operator's license for Ross Freeman at 315 3rd Street. I believe that we made recommendation from the finance to suspend until the fee is paid.
Full.
Pardon?
Paid
Paid
in
in full. I think there's $179 owing.
What's the number of payments left to?
2, 1 3/4.
One in
So it
February,
was
one in
late of
March.
December,
Early.
turned in January early, so there's.
Turn
February,
January and
March.
early.
So it's actually caught up at this point?
Correct.
Okay.
Does anyone like to make a motion to
I'll make a motion. that
To-
we suspend his license until the balance is paid in full.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
So we're gonna suspend his license even though he's caught up on his payments. So,
Correct.
let me get this right now. If I have a home and I'm paying my mortgage and I get caught up on my mortgage and you're gonna take my home away. I mean, we're taking his livelihood away. And this is a thing he does for his living, which will help him make the money to pay his next 2 payments. If he was still behind on his payments, I would feel much differently about it. But he made an effort to get caught up on his payments, and he has 2 payments left. And we're gonna say, no, we're gonna take that license away from you. I personally don't see the logic in it.
We're not revoking it, we're suspending it.
Okay,
So we would not have issued him a license if he had owed us the money back whenever his license came.
no, I wouldn't have issued him a license either had he owed us the money. I would have agreed with that. I mean, I'm just saying, that's my position on it.
But we made a mistake and we issued him the
We did,
license.
We did.
issued him a license. I think he missed 2 or 3 payments. And I heard this council say, and if he misses in December, we'll revoke his license.
Mhm.
And he missed by 5 days?
I
Point
mean,
is, he
that's- I
missed.
mean, that was what was agreed on
Okay.
when it was
But he did
voted
make the
4-2.
payment, I
He
guess.
did make the payment.
So he didn't not make the payment, he just happened to be, and he's made the new payment for January, so
That's
that's my,
correct.
okay.
The problem is it's a principle thing. We have a policy in place. We either follow our policies or we get rid of our policies. There has, there's a reason why we have I understand there's, exceptions to the rules, but I think it was a 4-2 vote to make that exception. I know voted last time. And so we made the exception. He broke. Once again, he was late. So now you're making an exception to the exception.
Although he's current right now. He's current with his payments.
And if we would have had a council meeting before his payment today, he would have been current but late with his payment. So your argument last month would have been, well, he didn't pay it on time, but he made the payment, so let's give him another shot.
Well, we could revoke it, and then your argument would hold true. I mean, then we are really.
He can come in tomorrow and pay the
Yeah,
balance, and then we could reinstate his license.
Okay.
Well, if he suspends it, or if you suspend it and he pays tomorrow, then it's taken care of without any further action because it's been, the
Paid.
suspension period is over.
Yep.
I just hope I hope we'll stick to our ordinance next time before we issue a license to someone who owns the city.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 3-2. Thank you. Discuss of possible changes to the cities of Hudson's quota regarding the number of reserved Class B liquor and Class B beer licenses and Class C wine license.
After the last council meeting, the city clerk and I reviewed the situation with Class B intoxicating liquor license quotas. The city has had a more restrictive quota than is required under state law. And of course, last council meeting was faced with the situation of having to choose between two applications. So we just wanted to make the council aware that if the city's ordinance were changed to be consistent with state law, 1 per 500, it would create 2 new Class B intoxicating liquor licenses. They would become available. The city council is not required to issue a license in any given situation. It applies the factors in the ordinance and decides whether it's in the best interest of the city, but it would create 2 additional licenses, would require an ordinance change, so it can't be done today. And then following an ordinance change, there would be a publication of availability that would be required before any applications could be considered by the council.
So our current is 1 per 600, and did you say
Yes.
that? And now it's going to be 1, or if the proposal goes through, it'd be 1 for 500. So we would generate 2 new.
2 new licenses.
Or that we have ability, we don't have to award them.
Didn't we lower it a couple of years ago?
It's been lowered. It was lowered in 2002, and it was lowered in, I want to say 2008. So it was $750, and then it went to $650, and then it went to $600. Since I've been here.
I think you wrote it last
Yeah.
year, before I
Yeah,
came
I
on,
think
right
it's-
before I came on council.
A couple years ago, yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion to lower it
We have
to
to develop an
500.
ordinance, right?
Oh, yeah, it wouldn't, to have an ordinance to lower it. We can't,
Yep.
you can't do it without.
Motion, he's moving to direct you.
Right, yep.
Yep. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I agree with the motion, by the way. I just have a side question since we're talking about this. Can we look at what our ordinance is with this 90 days? What is it, 30 to 90 days? Can we look at, if obviously we after the previous discussion at council, we all kind of agreed that it's hindering but we understand why it's in place, but to look at options, maybe to extend it to 120 days, or to look at.
Sure, that's
that they
another.
have to show due diligence at 90 days, that they actually have stuff accomplished, plumbing, whatever, and they need an extension then.
The reason, that's another situation where the council, that's not something that's required under state law, but the council, when it adopted that, was worried or concerned about people getting a license and then sitting on it, not precisely because there's several applications and we don't want, or the council didn't want
Right.
someone to sit on it. So if you have to be consistent. You need to treat everyone consistently. And so at that time, they decided 90 days startup time. You can certainly look at it.
Or look at options like, it was explained to us that they needed more time, but it's like, that's possibly fine, but there needs to be some sort of show of good faith that they're actually working inside the building and creating a restaurant or creating what have you, not that they're just sitting there with a skeleton still.
Yeah, I think the ordinance is written in terms of the council may cancel the license if they fail to either start up within 90 days or aren't open within 90 days. So you just want to make sure you're consistent in trying to treat everyone fairly. We could put language in, you know, that would give you some guidance on when, under what circumstances you may choose not to enforce that 90-day and set some requirements. Okay, you have to come back in 90 days and tell us what you've done.
But if you had a big project moving into town, a hotel,
Yeah,
convention
right,
center.
yeah.
Not gonna be done in 90 days.
No,
Right.
Right, it's
not even
not,
close,
which is the
yeah.
problem, where, you know, there's someone comes in and says, you know, I have the financing, I'm ready to go, I can dig tomorrow, you know, but it's
yeah,
gonna
it's
take
gonna-
me 120 days to complete
Yeah.
this project, you know?
Yeah, I think we can put more in the ordinance if you'd like to have more discretion on how to, you know, enforce that or use that 90 days depending on the facts and
Yeah, I'd like to consider it,
circumstances.
otherwise, once again, we have a policy that
Yeah,
it's useless. So,
Maybe we can put language into the effect that we'll reserve a license for them, but not issue it until we have satisfactory conditions that show they're moving ahead with the project.
well,
That makes
yeah,
sense.
Well, but you can put it on reserve and say, in 60 or 90 days, we're gonna come out and inspect to see where you're at, and if it doesn't look like you've made reasonable progress, we'll take it away and say it's no longer reserved. We're gonna make it available to
something
other
like,
people.
something to that
That's a
effect
good
would be
idea.
very satisfactory.
Yeah, we can prepare, it'll go to the ordinance, we can do both the quota issue and then an amendment to this 90-day, and it can go to finance.
That's kind of what I was hoping to get it
And
all
discuss
slipped in
it,
one
yep.
time,
Mhm.
yeah.
Does anyone here have a problem with that, from lowering it from 600 to 500? Okay.
I like that we'll be consistent with the state.
Yeah.
We're sort of putting ourselves at a disadvantage relative to other municipalities.
All right. Anything else? Anybody want any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 12, discussion of room tax dollar budget for 2012. I think everyone had a copy of that. We have people here from the chamber. If we want to talk to them, I think everybody has had a look at this. Any questions? Any comments? Finance approved the preliminary budget. There's $3,000 available for the grant program that the grant committee will have. We have two requests, one from the Hot Air Affair and one from the FIP Center. So those are the two requests that we have. Is there anyone from the audience that would like to address the situation? Mr. O'Malley?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I'm Scott O'Malley, 1024 3rd Street here in Hudson. The arrangement with the Chamber of Commerce handling tourism funds for the city has gone on for a great many years, and this time we were looking at a six-figure sum, $105,000. I think this might be a good time to take a step back and look at what we have been doing and what we might do in the future. And since it's not a matter of any timeliness, because the first payment for the 212 room tax won't be until April, you might consider putting this out for a request for proposals. An RFP would give the city council a chance to relook this matter. Now that would entail a little work, but often with work comes discovery. You might discover things that you want to have in any new arrangement, things that you might want to do away with. And by putting it out for RFPs, you would open the doors for some fresh ideas, some new options, and a chance to discover what else is going on in the world. So since you do have the time, you have another 3 months here, would you please consider doing that? Thank you.
Thank you. Kim?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come here tonight. We thank you for your continued support of the Tourism Bureau. This does, as Scott mentioned, mark a longevity in relationship. This marks the 25th year of your relationship and partnership with the Tourism Bureau here in Hudson. Hudson is certainly vibrant. We're very excited about our programming. We're very excited about our new initiatives. In fact, when you speak about getting some new ideas and some fresh ideas, we're just actually coming from our board retreat today where we had all kinds of those new ideas. With me today is our new board chair, Lou Ann Berg. Tracy Leffner, Mimi Fair, and of course you know already Andrea Jorgensen, who's the Tourism Bureau and Chamber's Director of Communications and Programs. So we had all kinds of great discussions today about new initiatives. We also have a new ad campaign, and I think I mentioned that the last time we were together. It's called Say Hello to Hudson, and we're very excited about the response from that new campaign. We are also going to be unveiling a new tourism website. We've been working very diligently with that, and Steve has been helping us a lot in that as well. We also have had a very successful familiarization tour this year in June, where we had a motor coach group come. There were 22 different motor coach companies that came here, and statistically, those companies with relationships in a community that they love come back and spend all kinds of money. We have been establishing relationships with these organizations who have come here once or twice, and they've come again and again, so we're very encouraged by the motor coach market. With that, we also have presented through our tourism connections, tourism packages, stay and play packages for golf, for our Christmas tour of homes. We have a historical stay and play that we're encouraging right now. And what that does is it invites people to experience our city, in addition to the ultimate goal of having them stay overnight. So heads and beds, which in turn then generates more room tax so that we can continue to market our great city. We also have been seeing increases in phone calls, great increases in our website activity. We also have really great participation from our chamber member businesses who also cross over into the tourism sector. One of the new initiatives that we are very involved with, and myself very involved with, is the St. Croix River Crossing Project, where when the federal exemption is made for the new bridge across the St. Croix River, not only will commerce be increased here, but that is a very key tourism asset. So we're very, very engaged and involved in that, and my board of directors has been very, very supportive of that initiative. Also, what you have by your connection with the Tourism Bureau here are partnerships that create a lot of enhancements. We have opportunities to share and to experience the State Department of Tourism, both in Wisconsin and in Minnesota. We also have participation in the state tourism conferences. We also participate in the Tourism Alliance, where we participate with communities up and down the river on both sides of the river to promote tourism in our areas. We've also had very good success with media coverage, TV, radio, and the like along the way. And this year we're also celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Yellowstone Trail Initiative, which you helped us sign about 3 years ago here. So we're looking for some really fun things in that respect. Also, with your connection, the Chamber of Commerce also promotes tourism. So it's a combination of two organizations that we work within. So you have far more benefit than just the room tax allocations by the connections that the Chamber also facilitates with their Chamber membership, in addition to the events and programs and sponsorship that the Chamber hosts. So with that, visitors come, and it's not only just coming to visit the community for one day. They're staying overnight, they're buying gas, they're buying bread, they're buying food, they're experiencing shopping. So the economic impact that we have in our community is great. So with all of that, I respectfully request the 70% room tax allocation be awarded to the Tourism Bureau again this year as it was last year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kim. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the council on this matter? If not, then council, any questions?
Well, I'd like to start by saying I've been involved with the Chamber and the Tourism Bureau for almost 20 years now, and I think that with Kim and her staff and the board have done a wonderful job in moving us forward into the future, looking out for the best interests of the businesses in our community and the overall tourism efforts that they have put in, and that I've also been directly involved with. So with that comment, I'll move to recommend the 70% for the Chamber of Commerce.
And the rest of the budget.
And the rest of the budget?
The rest of the budget.
Second.
As follows.
Is there a second, Mary?
Second.
Just to note that we increased the budget of the, I was going to say the funeral home, the cemetery, by $4,000.
But that is for this year.
That's
It's
for
not a
this year only.
guarantee For any future years.
It also should be noted that the city's chamber dues comes out of that, is included in that 70%. We do make that payment out of that 70%.
Any other discussion?
The cemetery increases for the expansion of this?
No, I think it's for operating.
Oh, okay.
In the state of Wisconsin, if that is not a viable operation, it becomes part of the city.
Because we
And
own
then
the
we're
cemetery.
responsible for the operation of the cemetery, which I don't think any of us want that. Unless, I know Devin doesn't.
No.
Done that. So we need that to be a viable operation.
You know, I think one important thing to note is that if we don't meet this $150,000 that's targeted, it's the chamber that
Correct.
flexes.
The tourism beautification and grant program are fixed at these
Right.
numbers.
Right, so if there's a
Chamber
shortfall,
fluctuates, right.
the chamber, and I think they're aware of that, right, chamber? Okay. Any other discussion? Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We had to, we pulled item 13, approval of park user fees, because we had, on there, we had the season pass.
On page 2, you'll need to take that off of
So
there.
if we could approve everything except page 2, the season pass for city residents and non-residents of $70 and $100. If we could get a motion to approve all the fees except for those two, boat launch fees.
I will move for that approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Change order to Lakefront Park Pathway Project. Tom, do you have any comments on that? Do you want to just, I think Mary was here, and update us as a council, full council?
Their request for additional funds for the Lakefront Park walkway pathway was due to some unforeseen debris that was underneath our excavation sites. Logs, concrete, metal roofing. Must have been an old dump site at one time or another. So just took extra time to excavate and bring clean fill back.
Okay. So we have $12,706, and we were going to take that out of the Park Trust Fund, which has $103,833. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the change order for the 2011 Lakefront Park Pathway Project and pathway improvements for, it says White Camp Park too, is that true?
There was a couple change orders for that park also. There was a drain, storm sewer drain that we needed, but that was absorbed by the capital project
Okay,
fund.
so just the Lakefront.
Is there a second?
Pathway.
Second.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Old business, I think we're down to the part, communication recommendation from the mayor. The Hudson Women's Club, or Garden Club, has a great calendar out. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I think it would be great. It's a beautiful calendar with pictures of Hudson area, and I think the funds go to the library. So if you have a chance, buy the calendar. I think you can buy it at any, either of the grocery stores. There's places downtown, some of the banks have them. So get a chance, go ahead and buy those calendars. They're great. Any alderperson? City attorney? City administrator?
Just to mention, we will be having a spring primary on February 19th. The school board has a primary, just so people are aware of that. And we hopefully, as soon as the 21st, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's good.
Sorry. And we should, as long as we can get the information, the state's still working through, everybody will be getting letters indicating where their new polling, if they have new polling places. But we will get those letters out prior to the primary, indicating where everybody will be voting, because there will be quite a few changes.
Okay. Anything else? Is there a motion for adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you very much.
So I wanted to ask this, but I didn't. District 3